Late June in London, the sun poured like liquid gold onto every corner of the street. Riverside High School nestled on the banks of the Thames, its royal poinciana trees in front of the campus budding fiery red, promising a brilliant summer. Amid the hum of cicadas, the seniors were busy preparing their university applications, while Alex Turner, of Class 12A3, strolled through the quad, a brown leather satchel in hand and the school's deep navy blazer draped over his shoulders. Alex paused at the library entrance, where the large windows reflected the silhouette of the Elizabeth Tower. Today he was waiting for someone special. Emma Nguyen, his close friend from literature class, had arranged to meet here to review English together. In truth, Emma often hid out in the library after school to avoid heading home too early. Her small Southwark flat had no air conditioning. Her mother, Ms. Mai, worked from dawn until dusk in the London heat to support her only daughter. Emma's footsteps were as light as the breeze, her long hair tumbling over countless well-worn pages. She wore a loose white blouse with puffed sleeves and faded jeans, simple, somewhat shabby compared to her peers. Yet her clear eyes shone with fierce ambition, the longing to rise above her modest circumstances. Alex studied her and felt his heart tighten. "Why so plain today, Emma?" he teased gently. She smiled shyly. "I borrowed my mother's clothes, I didn't have time to do laundry." "Don't laugh at me." Alex waved his hand. "It's fine, you still look beautiful. I actually brought you a little gift." Curious, Emma watched as Alex pulled a thin beige cashmere scarf from his satchel. Sunlight filtered through the weave, revealing a subtle striped pattern. Emma blushed. "It's lovely, you really didn't have to give it to me. I remembered how you shivered in the Thames breeze the other afternoon, so I wanted you to have something warm to wrap around after class. I hope you study hard and let nothing stand in your way." Emma's throat tightened, tears welling. "Thank you, Alex." They sat together at a wooden table by the window and opened their Cambridge Advanced textbook. But Emma's mind was elsewhere. She only felt the sudden warmth and the comfort of someone quietly watching over her in an unfair world. The bell rang, ending second period. Alex took Emma's hand and led her out into the courtyard, where a boisterous group of friends were taking yearbook photos. The blackboard outside room 12A3 read, "We did it," in vibrant chalk. A few classmates waved and whispered, "Look, Turner's giving Emma that scarf. Classic rich kid falls for poor girl." Emma bit her lip, eyes shining. She tugged Alex's hand, but he only held tighter, as if to reassure her, "No one needs to know." That afternoon, all the seniors gathered in the main quad as the headmaster congratulated them and urged confidence for the looming exams. The river breeze swept through, lifting uniform skirts and carrying a faint tang of water. Red poinciana petals rained down, twirling in the air like fiery dreams. Along the brick path to the gate, Alex and Emma walked side by side. Emma glanced to the right, gaze distant. "I'm a bit scared about the exams. I just want to get into King's College." Alex smiled softly. "I know. You excel in literature, and your English is outstanding. You'll do great. I'm aiming for Cambridge, partly because of my family background in research, and partly because I love a challenge." Emma frowned. "Cambridge is too far for me. But if that's what you want, I'll cheer you on." Though simple, her words were the greatest gift to Alex, a love without calculation. He bent down and placed the scarf back in Emma's hands. "Tomorrow, when you wear this scarf, if you ever feel lost, look up and meet my eyes." Emma brushed the scarf against her cheek and leaned on Alex's shoulder. For a moment, the world shrank to just the two of them, sunlit London, swaying poincianas, and two hearts beating in hopeful unison. As the sun sank toward the western horizon, Alex walked Emma home. Through the moss-covered iron gate, they fell into a companionable silence. In the glow of dusk, Emma saw Alex's tall silhouette standing guard against all storms. She squeezed his hand. "Thank you for always being here." "Always, Emma. I believe we can get through anything together." Emma's schoolbag felt impossibly light in her arms. She glanced back at Alex as he receded into the bustling London streets, heart brimming with hope. No matter what the future held, today she had found someone ready to shield and cherish her. And then, the final dismissal bell rang. Late poinciana petals whispered underfoot as Emma hurried through the gate, clutching her cashmere scarf and a heart aflame. It would be the sweetest memory of her warm last days of high school. That summer between graduation and university was spent in intense exam prep, but for Emma life was more than books. She rose before dawn to study at the kitchen table before her mother left for the morning shift. During breaks at school, she slipped into the library, shoulder to shoulder with Alex, poring over King's College past papers as he shared every tip he'd learned. Emma's stepmother, Linda, professed concern for her soon-to-be stepdaughter's future, but in truth, ever since joining their family, Linda had regarded Emma as a burden. Her priority was securing a spot for her own daughter, Sophie, at a prestigious school so the whole family might rank up on scholarships. When the UCAS application window opened, Emma carefully ranked King's College London, English Literature, Comparative, University College London, Media Studies, and Queen Mary University, Creative Writing. She smiled at the thought of those radiant campuses, the diverse classmates, and Alex, who planned for Cambridge, always by her side, cheering her on from afar. But on the day parents were to sign final confirmations, Linda helped by quietly swapping Emma's preferences. King's fell to third, replaced at the top by the less-renowned London South Bank University, on the grounds that South Bank offers a scholarship to working-class children like Emma. Busy with late shifts and exam prep, Emma never noticed her choices had been altered. By late July, UCAS began sending acceptance emails. Emma froze when she opened hers. "Congratulations! You have been offered a place at London South Bank University, English Literature, Comparative. Please confirm by August 6." Her heart pounded. South Bank, she muttered, rereading the name. It wasn't the illustrious Kings she'd dreamed of, nor the historic UCL steeped in Dickensian lore. South Bank was ordinary, cheaper tuition, basic facilities. She called her mother, voice trembling. "Mum, I only got into South Bank. I wanted King's." Linda's calm reply came, "South Bank is great too, dear. You'll get 50% off tuition, easing our burden. Please understand." Emma fell silent. She knew her mother worked so hard, but her chest ached like being crushed. Maybe her speaking and writing IELTS score of 6.5 wasn't quite enough for King's. Yet her heart felt torn. She both longed for her dream and felt betrayed by the one person she trusted most. That night, Emma couldn't sleep. She debated, accept South Bank or decline and consider studying abroad? The family's finances were tight, she couldn't just walk away. Overwhelmed, she wept, clutching Alex's cashmere scarf, imagining his gentle eyes urging her onward. The next morning in the library, Alex arrived for their study session. Seeing Emma's ashen face, he set down his book anxiously. "What's wrong? You look terrible." Emma looked up, voice quivering. "My application, they only accepted me at South Bank." Alex frowned and was silent for a moment, then spoke warmly. "Don't be upset. South Bank isn't the end of the world. As long as you love literature, you can thrive anywhere. I believe in you." Emma forced a smile, but inside she felt shattered. Alex meant well, but her dream of King's had anchored her for so long, and now she felt betrayed, not by Alex, but by her own mother. A few days later, furious and hurt, Emma confronted Linda in her private study. Linda appeared calm, tea in hand. Emma burst out, "Why did you change my university choices? I never asked you to." Linda frowned. "You must understand our situation. I wanted you to go to the cheapest school that still had quality. Don't blame me." Tears streaming, Emma cried, "You only think of yourself. I've dreamed of King's for so long. What if I hate South Bank?" Linda's voice hardened. "Stop complaining. Your birth mother abandoned you, I took you in. My help is practical, not romantic dreams like Alex's." Her words cut Emma to the bone. Her birth mother had left her, her stepmother erased her aspirations, Alex was nearly 100 miles away, and she, a poor girl with grand dreams, was at a crossroads with no clear path. That afternoon, Emma wandered alone by the Thames. The gentle ripples reflected both sky and her silent vow, I must be strong. No one and nothing will steal my dreams. In her chest, that promise echoed louder than ever, giving wings to her determined heart. Whatever storms lay ahead, Emma would press on, at all costs. One August afternoon, as London hinted at early autumn, Emma was still drafting appeal letters to UCL, not yet thinking of South Bank's tuition deadline. Then her phone rang, caller ID reading, stepfather, Richard. A chill ran through her. Emma, come home right now. It's urgent. She boarded the next bus, heart pounding. What could have happened? Back at their small Camberwell flat, the living room lights burned bright. Linda and Richard stood with ashen faces beside shattered glass. On the sofa sat Sophie, Linda's daughter, wrapped in bloody bandages and sobbing. An injured man, Mr. James, a delivery driver who'd had an accident that morning, leaned forward, wailing, "Your car hit me. Blood everywhere. That drunk girl couldn't stop." Sophie trembled. I didn't mean to, I swear." Police quickly arrived and arrested Emma. Confused, she protested, "But I wasn't driving. I was at the library." Linda barked, "You drove the car, Emma. You can't shirk your responsibility." Richard turned to Emma sternly, "For the family's sake, you must take the blame for Sophie." Emma stammered, "I didn't drive. Why is this happening?" Her protests fell on deaf ears. Mr. James had identified Emma Turner, the name she used at school, and Richard used his connections to frame her. That night at Peckham Police Station, Emma shook with tears. "Why won't anyone believe me? I didn't do this." She felt utterly alone, her birth mother gone, stepmother had rewritten her future, now had falsely implicated her, and Sophie sat mutely as the police hauled Emma away. At her preliminary hearing, Emma's inexperienced lawyer tried to defend her, but tabloids spread rumors of the privileged schoolgirl attacking a pedestrian. Alex, in Cambridge, called her frantic, but his mother intercepted and dismissed it as water under the bridge. Late that night, after her lawyer's video evidence of Sophie driving was rejected for authenticity issues, the court ruled Emma guilty of causing grievous bodily harm while driving, sentencing her to 2 years imprisonment for remorse and first offense. When the sentence was read, Emma's world collapsed. She bowed her head, tears streaking her face, 2 years in a cell. Led away in the prison van, stepmother and stepfather didn't even glance back. Sophie was too shocked to say goodbye. Alex could only clutch his head, heart shattered. Why didn't they listen? Why did they leave her to suffer this injustice? In Dartmoor prison, Emma's first nights were filled with fear. She lay in her cold cell, clutching Alex's cashmere scarf, the only comfort she had, refusing food, refusing sleep, weeping endlessly. But tears solved nothing. In the darkest hours, Emma resolved, if she must endure this wrong, she would not break. 2 years, just 2 years. She opened a friend's parcel, textbooks on English law, a blank prison diary. She started writing and planning. Every injustice would be exposed, justice, though delayed, would come. When the iron door clanged shut, Emma sat on the cold concrete floor, fingers clutching the scarf still warm with her tears. Weak light filtered through the narrow window bars, illuminating drifting dust. Dartmoor prison was nothing like she'd known, granite walls, echoing corridors, and the metallic rattle of locks reminding her, your freedom is gone. On her first day, she was issued a faded shirt, scrubbed cargo trousers, and worn plastic sandals. Thrust into a 5-person cell with a rickety iron bunk, a slop bucket, and a chip tray, she felt every eye study her with disdain. Privileged riverside girl, wait till you regret this. At afternoon yard time, she stood among harsh concrete, looming walls, and a single floodlight pole. Cold wind cut through, carrying the resigned sighs of inmates. Emma shrank inward, looking at the sliver of sky above, heart aching at the thought of 2 long years here. She couldn't eat the bland gruel and boiled potatoes. Each mouthful was a taste of bitterness. Memories of the library, Alex's laughter, King's dreams flitted through her mind like scorching embers. That night she couldn't sleep. Tossing on the thin mattress, she hugged the scarf like a lifeline. Voices of inmates bickering drifted through the cell block. Rising, she paced and pressed her hand against the rough wall. If I do nothing, I'll die in here. At dawn, she awoke with fierce determination. Clutching her smuggled law books, criminal law of England, communication skills, she began studying by the dim cell light. Other inmates watched. Looks like she's not like the rest of us. Emma drafted a daily regimen: 2 hours of law, 1 hour of writing practice, 1 hour of light exercise. She jotted tasks into her tiny notebook. Day 1, read criminal law introduction, record 10 key terms. Day 2, write 300-word essay on human rights. In week 1, she met Mia, a 10-year veteran inmate framed in a false murder case. Impressed by Emma's resolve, Mia offered help. She'd arrange for an outside lawyer to send more materials and show Emma how to file appeals. Emma squeezed Mia's hand gratefully. Together they formed a study alliance, exchanging hope and support. Meanwhile, Alex in Cambridge called lawyers and learned of her plight but was blocked at every turn by his own mother. He resorted to texts: Emma, stay strong. I'll find a way to clear your name. In the 3rd week, Emma received a letter from barrister David Lee via prison mail, unopened by guards. Inside: Dear Emma, I've taken your case. We are gathering outside evidence, interviewing witnesses, and requesting reinvestigation. Justice will prevail if you maintain your resolve. Sincerely, David Lee. His signature, slim but authoritative, was a glimmer of light in her prison's gloom. Emma read it over and over, tears welling. I'm not completely alone. Gradually, her prison schedule fell into disciplined routine. Mornings of law, afternoons of transcription, evenings of essays. Her diary became her study notebook, honest, meticulous. Her mind no longer drifted, her heart no longer wavered. One afternoon during communal reading time, Emma stood and gave a lucid presentation on defendants' rights during investigations. Her clear, cogent voice drew the attention of inmates and even some warders. She gazed through the narrow window, whispering, "When I'm free, I will bring my case to light." Days in prison passed slowly, but Emma filled each moment with purpose. She learned patience, restraint, and above all, how to hope in the tightest confines. As autumn slipped into winter and London's skies turned steely gray, Emma donned a thin sweater and joined yard exercises. She inhaled the cold air like a trial of her will. Give me 2 years, and I will rise stronger. Thus, the darkness behind bars could not smother Emma Nguyen's flame of freedom and justice. When Dartmoor Prison's iron gates finally opened for her release, Emma stepped into the pale winter chill. She carried only a rough canvas bag, her prison issue, bearing a few fresh clothes from David Lee and the NGO Justice for All. She drew a deep breath of freedom. That very day she went to David's small Clerkenwell office. Sunlight streamed in over piles of legal tomes. David smiled warmly. "Congratulations on making it out safely. I've cleared your remand status and will now proceed with compensation for wrongful conviction. I've also contacted NGOs to help you reintegrate, career training, job placement, even temporary housing." Emma clasped his hand, eyes bright with gratitude. "Thank you. I want to stand on my own, not depend on charity." Over the next weeks, Emma attended soft skills and communication workshops at the NGO Second Chance. There, she learned interview techniques, resume writing, stress management, and budgeting, skills vital for starting anew. Simultaneously, Emma applied for library access at the British Library, immersing herself in legal judgments, textbooks, and case studies. She copied statutes on human rights, criminal liability, and appeals procedure into her battered notebook. That diary, once her prison journal, now brimmed with legal outlines, appeal strategies, and ideas for a civil suit. In March, she landed a position as assistant to operations manager at a fintech startup near Old Street. Her interview detailed how she'd helped cellmates draft appeals and her unwavering belief in justice. When the offer arrived, she wept on the sidewalk. She had done it. Emma found a tiny Shoreditch studio, 25 square meters but her own world. She furnished it with second-hand pieces, a colorful rug, self-printed wall art, and a sturdy desk overlooking graffiti-lined lanes. Her wardrobe evolved: tailored blazers, crisp white shirts, knee-length skirts. Her hair was cut to shoulder length, softly curled, and she traded her old jeans for brown leather loafers. At work, Emma impressed everyone: process improvements, weekly compliance reports, translating legal documents for the in-house team. Colleagues marveled, who'd have thought she was once in prison? Lunchtimes found her at Serial Killer Cafe, savoring bowls of cereal and comparing them to prison gruel. She smiled at the contrast, thinking, from despair to thriving. Emma expanded her network: startup meetups, pro bono lawyers, and Women in Law London. David Lee introduced her to a small conference where she gave a talk: case study, wrongful conviction and lessons in law. Under stage lights, she opened with, "We may lose our freedom for a moment, but knowledge and conviction remain untouchable." The audience applauded fiercely. She sketched long-term plans. Once she amassed enough expertise, she would sue for wrongful imprisonment and public vindication. Each morning, she consulted her worn diary, now frayed at the edges, reviewing daily goals: draft the civil suit, finish the fintech project, update David on appeal progress. Then she stepped into the world with confidence and purpose. Under April's gentle sunshine, Emma Nguyen was no longer the dusty girl in old jeans but a composed professional. With the faint scent of horsechestnut blossoms in the air, she smiled: "I've grown, and now I will reclaim my debt to life, and repay Alex's faith." After 6 months of early triumphs at Silicon Roundabout, Emma realized the time had come to revisit the stage of her sweetest and hardest memories: Cambridge. She recalled her prison diary's vow: "Once free, I will return and demand justice." Emma and David Lee planned her next legal move: file a civil claim for damages and petition the court to overturn her conviction. David said, "We need original statements, police transcripts, and, above all, traffic camera footage proving Sophie, not you, was driving. I've contacted security firms. If we secure those videos, we have an airtight case." That week Emma rented a flat in Cambridge, minutes from Riverside High School, on Mill Road, a bustling street of bookstores and vintage cafes. She carried thick binders of police reports, court transcripts, and emails with David. Each morning, she sat in Fitzbilly's Cafe on King's Parade, sipping strong coffee and eyeing rushing undergraduates. She thought, "This was once my dream campus, now it's my battlefield." By remote work, she spent half-days interviewing witnesses with David's team and half-days on fintech projects. They had persuaded one of Sophie's friends to testify that Sophie had been driving that day. To avoid alerting her stepmother, Emma used only Emma Nguyen in her cases. Even local lawyers at Cambridge courts knew her simply as an interested party. One afternoon, Emma and David surveyed the accident site on High Street. Modern traffic cameras now lined the intersection. David filmed on his phone. "These cameras record 24/7. We'll subpoena footage from that day." Emma nodded, hope swelling. With this, they can't weasel out. That night, in her modest flat by candlelight, Emma spread out a map of Cambridge. She marked her old school, the courthouse, and the train station Alex used. Before sleeping, she scrolled to her last text conversation with Alex: "Emma, I believe in you." She tapped a reminder: "Pick a gift for Alex when we meet." Sunday morning, Emma drove along the Cam, parked near Magdalene Bridge, recorded a brief statement of independence video for David, then left. David approved. "This strengthens our petition." Before leaving Cambridge, Emma paid a quiet visit to Riverside High School. The old 12A3 sign was weathered, the poinciana trees stood bare. At the closed gates, she pictured Alex waiting with that scarf years ago. She vowed, "I won't stop until I see him again." Turning away, Emma felt no fear, only resolve. She was no longer the timid girl of 6 years past. She was ready to face the world and fulfill her promise to both herself and Alex Turner. 6 years had passed since Emma reluctantly entered Dartmoor prison. Her life had transformed, a Shoreditch studio turned into a loving home, a stable fintech career, speaking engagements on human rights. Yet her memories of Alex Turner, the boy who longed to protect her, remained etched in her heart. Early June, when wisteria vines draped in lavender bloom, Emma decided once more to visit Cambridge. She booked a short stay near the Cam, within walking distance of King's College and the Eagle Café, where she and Alex once studied. Each morning she strolled the old stone paths, passing black-gowned students, recalling, "He stood here waiting for me." That afternoon, Emma slipped into the Eagle. The dark wood interior, Watson and Crick photos, and college memorabilia were unchanged. She chose a window seat, set down her tote, and ordered a cappuccino. The aroma stirred memories. Before she could sip, she spotted him. Alex Turner, hair still parted exactly the same, entered in a tailored blue shirt, settling near the window. Their eyes met in a flicker of recognition. Emma's heart raced. Does he know it's me? Alex glanced at her, surprise crossing his face before he looked away and sipped green tea. Emma gathered herself, different from the jeans she once wore. She now wore a fitted dress and light makeup, yet her gentle presence remained unchanged. She watched him open his laptop. The physics research department banner on his screen confirmed his path. She thumbed through a small map of campus, rehearsing her message to him, but hesitated to send it. Suddenly Alex stood, waved to the barista, and headed out. Emma hurried behind, rounding a corner and almost colliding with him. "Emma?" Alex stammered, eyes wide. "How?" Her hand gripped the table's edge. "Alex, you recognized me?" He blinked, looking torn between past and present. "Am I mistaken?" They stood in silence as the distant chapel bells chimed. Emma felt her pulse thunder. Alex inhaled sharply, voice trembling. "Why are you here?" She met his gaze, calm though her heart raced. "I have matters to discuss, about our past." Alex frowned and took a cautious step back, tucking a stray lock behind his ear. What have you been through?" Emma managed a small smile, though tears glinted in her eyes. "You'll know in time. But first, please, join me for coffee." Alex hesitated, then nodded slowly. "All right. Let's talk." Together they returned to the Eagle, the evening sun gilding the Cam outside. Emma took a steadying breath, ready to unspool 6 years of secrets and to let him understand why her silence had never meant goodbye. The next evening, after recounting memories to Emma, Alex returned to his Newnham flat, only to find David Lee waiting with thick file folders on the coffee table. David spoke before Alex could ask, "Sorry to intrude at night. I have critical documents on Emma's case." Alex rose sharply. "What new evidence?" David slid the photocopies across. "These are the original crime scene witness statements signed by Sophie Nguyen, admitting she drove the car. Also, traffic camera stills from South Bank show Sophie's car at the accident scene, with damage matching hers, not Emma's." Alex's eyes widened. "How? Why wasn't this shown at trial?" David sighed. "Richard used his connections to quash media access and influence the local judge. The case was fast-tracked and closed in a single hearing. But now we have irrefutable proof to appeal, overturn the conviction, and pursue a civil suit." Alex leafed through the pages, heart pounding. All those years he'd wondered why Emma left him. He never imagined she'd been fighting for justice. He stood by the window, Cambridge lights twinkling, and whispered, "I was wrong. I should have questioned everything." David placed a hand on his shoulder. "Now the focus is next steps. We'll file a high court appeal and a civil claim. We need Emma and your cooperation in witness statements." Alex nodded resolutely. "Whatever she needs, I'm with her." That night Alex emailed Emma. "I just met with David Lee. We have the evidence to appeal and file for damages. Please come to the courthouse tomorrow. The next morning Emma read it in her Mill Road flat. Her eyes sparkled as she replied, "I'll be there." "What time?" At noon in a small courthouse office, David, Emma, and Alex convened. The air was electric with anticipation. David laid out the draft appeal petition, detailing each piece of evidence and the request. "We ask the Court of Appeal to quash the August 12, 2019 conviction, restore legal status, and award damages for material and psychological harm to Ms. Emma Nguyen." Emma nodded, tears in her eyes. "Finally, I can speak the truth." Alex gripped her hand, voice thick. "You're not alone anymore. I swear I'll protect you." David smiled. "We'll submit the petition next week. Expect a decision in 3 months. The civil suit can also proceed rapidly given the urgency." Before they left, Emma turned to Alex. "Thank you for believing in me, even when I fell silent all those years." Alex squeezed her hand. "I always remembered your words, you are the one who never let go. Now I keep my promise." Late summer light shone through the courthouse windows, illuminating their determined faces. Side by side, they embodied the triumph of truth and love. On Monday morning, Emma arrived at David Lee's office and found her civil claim dossier awaiting her. A summary sheet listed all defendants, Richard, Linda, and Sophie. David looked at them both with firm resolve. "This isn't just a damages case, it's an exposé. We'll pursue legal action and a media campaign." Emma poised her pen. "I'm ready." David assigned tasks. The legal team would finalize the claim, itemizing losses, her lost King scholarship, 2 wasted years, emotional trauma, and legal expenses. They cited defamation under Section 88 and civil compensation under Section 46. David emphasized, "We must prove the link between your altered university application, the wrongful conviction, and your harms." Simultaneously, Alex reached out to a seasoned legal correspondent at The Guardian, proposing an in-depth exposé titled, "A Working-Class Girl Framed to Spare a Wealthy Family's Daughter." The reporter agreed to meet, and Emma and Alex prepared evidence packets, police statements, camera stills, and restitution plans. Emma decided, "Let's go public only after we file, to maximize pressure." The next day at Fitzbilly's, Alex and Emma discussed timing. Her eyes met his, gratitude shining through determination. "With you by my side, I fear nothing." Later that afternoon, David formally filed the civil suit at Cambridge County Court. The clerk stamped their bundle and set a preliminary hearing in 6 weeks. Emma signed with steadiness, each signature a strike for justice. While awaiting trial, Emma and Alex met the Guardian journalist in a private meeting room. Emma recounted prison life and her appeal journey. She stressed, "I'm not driven by vengeance, but by the need to warn others that injustice can happen to anyone." The Guardian planned a long-read feature, complete with graphics of traffic camera frames and interview excerpts. Once published, it would ignite public attention. News of the lawsuit and impending exposé provoked pushback from Linda and Richard. Their lawyers filed for a stay and threatened countersuits for defamation. David was unfazed, he knew their objections were purely procedural. The journalists' team also sought comment from the defendants, but both Linda and Richard declined. Amid the legal media whirlwind, Emma and Alex still stole sweet moments, walking through Parker's Peace Park, dreaming of a future Emma envisioned, founding a justice fund, while Alex mused about writing their story. At sunset he placed his hand on her shoulder. "We won't just win this for you, but for all who suffer." Emma turned to him with a triumphant smile. "I believe in tomorrow." Thus began their campaign for justice, an inevitable climax to Emma Nguyen and Alex Turner's long ordeal. 12 weeks after filing the appeal, the Court of Appeal convened. On Monday morning, senior judges heard David Lee present the body of evidence, camera footage, witness statements, medical reports, and Emma's prison diary. The defense for Richard and Linda had no answer to the indisputable records. At last, the presiding judge pronounced, The conviction of Ms. Emma Nguyen on August 12, 2019, is hereby quashed. All related convictions and records are expunged. Ms. Nguyen's rights are fully restored, and no cost shall be borne by her. The defendants are ordered to pay damages of £250,000 plus interest from August 12, 2019, until payment in full. In the courtroom, Emma rose, tears shimmering. Alex gripped her hand, pride radiant on his face. Linda and Richard hung their heads, unable to meet her gaze. The judge declared, "Court adjourned. Enforcement to follow within 2 weeks." Moments later, David embraced Emma. "Congratulations, justice has prevailed." Emma wiped her eyes. "Thank you, for never giving up on me." That afternoon, the civil hearing took place in the same courthouse. The defense quietly agreed to settle to avoid further negative publicity. 2 hours later, Emma walked out holding a ceremonial check. In the fading light, she sat on the courthouse steps and breathed deeply, truly free for the first time in 6 years. Alex sat beside her, draping the cashmere scarf around her shoulders. "This scarf has been with you through it all. Keep it as a token for what comes next." Emma smiled and pressed it to her cheek. "You're the greatest gift of all." With her name cleared, Emma chose forgiveness. She invited her stepmother and stepfather to David Lee's office. Looking them in the eye, she said, "I don't want to deprive Sophie of her future. I will help fund her education, if you apologize publicly and vow never to harm anyone else." Linda and Richard were silent, then Linda wept. "Emma, we're so sorry. We'll do as you ask." Sophie, tears in her eyes, whispered, "I'm sorry, Emma. I'll make it right." Emma handed Sophie a set of King's College prep books. "These helped me chase my dream. I hope they help you chase yours." That evening, Alex walked Emma back to her Cambridge flat. In the cozy living room, he confessed, "I was too afraid to question my family and lost sight of you. I'm sorry for the pain I caused." Emma squeezed his hand. "You never let go. That's why I'm here today." Under Cambridge's soft streetlights, they embraced, two hearts reunited without misunderstanding. A month later, Emma graduated with honors in law at King's College's auditorium. Alex, now a guest lecturer, presented her with her diploma. As Emma stepped forward to receive her award, she turned and whispered to Alex, "Thank you for helping me stand here." He smiled back, "You earned it all." Amidst thunderous applause, Emma felt as if she had sprouted wings, ready to soar on love and justice. With her name and rights restored, Emma and Alex's relationship hit reset, but now they were kindred spirits forged by shared trials. One late autumn afternoon, Alex brought Emma to the Shoreditch studio where they first met after her release. The floorboards gleamed, bookshelves brimmed with legal texts and novels, and the work desk faced a window overlooking graffiti-lined alleys. Alex smiled. "Remember this place? Where I waited through the storm." Emma looked out at the golden light filtering through, tears of joy in her eyes. "It witnessed my sobs behind bars and my tears of happiness when I knew you never left me." Alex slid a small box from his pocket and knelt. "Emma Nguyen, I can never repay your suffering. But I promise to be your steadfast support. Will you marry me?" Emma gasped, then laughed through her tears. "You're still so romantic." "Yes, I will." He lifted her into his arms as the room's warm glow celebrated their triumphant love. They planned a simple wedding at King's College's main hall, where Emma once studied alone. Friends and colleagues, including David Lee and Mia, gathered to witness. Emma wore a minimalist V-neck gown, pearls gleaming on her wrists, Alex's gift. He placed the ring on her finger. "You prove that love and justice conquer all. I'm honored to be by your side." Emma smiled, voice thick with emotion. "You never let go of me. Now let's write our future together." Amid delighted applause under ancient vaulted ceilings, their dance of joy began after so many trials. Half a year after their wedding, Emma and Alex launched their own boutique law firm at 17, Ravensbourne Lane, dedicated to representing wrongfully convicted and marginalized clients. Their logo, a justice scale entwined with a blooming lotus, symbolized purity and resilience. At the grand opening, flowers from Sophie adorned the reception. David Lee, Mia, fintech colleagues, and even Emma's former headmaster joined the celebration. Alex addressed the gathering. "We are not just colleagues, but allies in the fight for justice. Thank you, Emma, for inspiring me and our community." Emma's voice trembled with gratitude. "Without justice and freedom, we lose our dignity. Thank you all for trusting us." Their practice soon thrived. Emma coordinated case files, wrote appeals, and mentored junior lawyers. Alex led legal research and taught part-time at Cambridge. Their snug office buzzed with collaboration and laughter. On Sunday mornings, they rode bicycles through Grantchester meadows, picnicking by the Cam's tranquil banks and dreaming up scholarships for needy students, publishing their story, and offering free legal workshops. One golden autumn day, Emma was awarded Inspirational Woman of the Year by Women's Rights UK. Accepting the plaque, she looked at Alex. "I wasn't alone on this journey, because of you, my partner and soulmate." Thunderous applause filled the hall as Alex rose to stand by her. "You deserve every honor." As the sun set over Camden's rooftops, Emma and Alex held hands, their hearts shining with hope. They had weathered injustice, imprisonment, betrayal, and heartbreak, and emerged victorious, ready to write new chapters of love and justice together.